that means that a strike has struck. That's right. From Texas to Maine, dock workers are now on strike, and we are facing economic existentialism.
Whoa, 45,000 dock workers from Texas to Maine are on strike, crippling supply chains. But my question is, why is this really going on? Welcome back to the JP Reacts channel, my beautiful freedom-loving friend. This is where we like to call out the lies, hypocrisy, and corruption of tyrants and Satan, shine the light of awareness on woke absurdities, and highlight the amazing work of other freedom fighters, because truth conquers. So we know we've had this problem in the U.S. of we import too much stuff, manufacture overseas. It's cheaper, short term, it's better. Long term, it's much worse. But nonetheless, that's the reality we live in. And here we are, October 1st, 2nd, or 3rd, whatever it is. Early October, election next month. Okay, let's not think about that. 45,000 dock workers from Texas to Maine, that covers a lot of importing territory, are now on strike. And on the surface, here's why they're on strike. They're demanding a higher wage. A 77% increase over 6 years. That's dramatic. That's absurd. I would dare say that's suspicious. Absurd thing being set up on purpose, demanding a absurdly higher wage increase to cripple importing on purpose. Why would that be? Tell you about that in a second. And the union of dock workers is also demanding no automation at ports. They want to protect their jobs. Is this the October surprise, what Michael Flynn has called the Black Swan event? In other words, we have an election coming up, and it'd be advantage to the mostly peaceful side if mass chaos was ensuing. We kind of tried monkeypox. That didn't really take. That last time we did COVID, that was great mass chaos. So what if the supply chains were absolutely crippled? What kind of chaos would that ensue? And what kind of economic hardship would that impose on people? And then also ask yourself, out of the two candidates, one's a capitalist, one's a communist, which one preaches economic prosperity? Which one preaches economic hardship? She'll use different words. She'll say things like equal outcome, and her administration will do things to decrease the value of the dollar and make the economy worse, while the other person will do things to the dollar more valuable and the economy better. You figure out which candidate has which agenda, but nonetheless, this supply chain disruption, this strike, certainly has the potential to create chaos as well as cripple the economy, let alone cripple people's ability to get things that they need. Now, as we consider, why is this really going on? Is it just all about the surface, or is there something deeper, something orchestrated from the shadows? It's a good question. You consider that. And I'll also show you a short interview with a union boss, and then show you something about him that's pretty darn shocking, which tells you he very well, allegedly, could be the type of person who does the working of corruption. So if there's a backdoor, shadowy agenda, he might just be the type of person that would implement it on the surface. Let's dive in. A little Fox News clip with a gist of what's going on at the surface level. And here's the tweet. Late breaking, more than 45,000 dock workers from Maine to Texas went on strike at midnight demanding higher wages, 77% increase paid out over 6 years, and no automation at ports. Experts say a one-week strike will cost the United States $3.8 billion. Strike is positioning itself to become the largest in decades, and you'll hear from the union boss in a second, who isn't shy about crippling the system for his agenda, or whoever he's working with agenda.
More than 45,000 dock workers from Maine to Texas are now on strike for the first time since 1977. They walked off the job once the clock struck midnight. Workers are demanding higher wages and a total ban on automation in the ports. Experts warn the strike could disrupt supply chains and
it might disrupt supply chains. It is the supply chain.
Raise prices for consumers.
Raise prices for consumers. That's an interesting economic impact. Less goods coming in, which means existing goods of those categories already in the United States are more scarce. The value of them goes up. The price goes up.
The timing could also cause tremendous disruptions to this year's holiday shopping season, which usually gets into full swing next month.
What else is going on this time of year that it could create disruptions about?
Officials also say the walkout has the potential to become the most disruptive strike to the U.S. economy in decades. Just a week-long strike could cost the U.S. economy $3.8 billion.
The key takeaway there is could be the most disruptive strike. And even if you're not considering is that disruption orchestrated on purpose or would it just be an organic byproduct, it's nonetheless the most important thing to consider in my opinion. It could be the most disruptive strike. We'll get back to the video in just a second, but first, I think we've all been reminded quite a bit lately that it's important to stay sharp, whether you're running a country or just running your own household. From my perspective, no matter how old you are, we can't let the years slow down our mental game. Whether you're 35 or 85, you can choose to be at your best. If you've noticed your brain feels a bit foggy lately as you age, it's time to clear the cobwebs. And I can't think of a better way to do it than with my daily dose of Mushroom Breakthrough from Bioptimizers. Mushroom Breakthrough packs a powerful punch with 4 cognitive enhancing mushrooms: chaga, reishi, cordyceps, and lion's mane, plus collagen for extra brain support. The lion's mane in particular can increase your levels of BDNF, a protein that helps your brain cells grow. Know any politicians that could use that? Well, don't be one of them. Now, this is crucial for your memory and learning, which typically declines as you age. So Mushroom Breakthrough is like fertilizer for your brain. On top of these incredible benefits, it's also delicious. I love all 3 flavors. You can choose to be at your best, so give Mushroom Breakthrough a try. Go to bioptimizers.com/JPReacts and use the discount code AWAKEN to get 10% off your Mushroom Breakthrough. Your future self will thank you for it. Now back to the video. Now, in a second, we'll watch this union leader, Harold Daggett, in a short interview. But here's what General Michael Flynn posts. If you didn't know what the art of the deal was, this is it. Get ready, America. Maybe this is the black swan no one anticipated. I certainly didn't. Not at this moment. And anyone who believes Biden or Harris can handle this, or anyone else in their administration, needs to think twice. Yeah, which of course is alluding to President Trump is pretty well seasoned at creating deals so things can move on. Biden and Harris, they have no real world experience at doing such things, so they're not very good. But again, I'm also questioning the Biden-Harris administration and the people actually running that administration. Are they not only not good at creating deals to like make a strike go away, but do they actually want it there? Did they orchestrate this? And they want no deal to be had because they're looking to disrupt. Not that disrupting a society is part of communism. Oh, it is. But anyway, here's what Harold Daggett, leader of the ILA, has to say. And I'll show you something allegedly shocking about him in just a second.
Let me explain something to you. These people today don't know what a strike is. When my men hit the streets from Maine to Texas, every single port will lock down. You know what's going to happen? I'll tell you. First week, be all over the news every night, boom, boom. Second week, guys who sell cars can't sell cars because the cars ain't coming in off the ships. They get laid off.
So he's describing he knows how much leverage he has because he knows how much he, the president of the union, can disrupt things by holding out on strike to get what he wants.
Third week, malls start closing down. They can't get the goods from China. They can't sell clothes. They can't do this. Everything in the United States comes on a ship. They go out of business. Construction workers get laid off because the materials aren't coming in. The steel's not coming in. The lumber's not coming in. They lose their job. Everybody's hating the longshoremen now.
So he's describing some real economic impact. And on the timeline he's suggesting happens pretty quick.
Because now they realize how important our jobs are. Now I have the president screaming at me, I'm putting a Taft-Hartley on you. Go ahead. Taft-Hartley means I have to go back to work for 90 days. That's a cooling off period. Do you think when I go back for 90 days, those men are going to go to work on that pier? It's going to cost the company's money to pay their salaries. Well, they went from 30 moves an hour maybe to 8. They're going to be like this. Who's going to win here in the long run? You're better off sitting down and let's get a contract and let's move on with this world. In today's world, I'll cripple you. I will cripple you. And you have no idea what that means.
Whoa, I'll cripple you. That doesn't really sound like stately businessman talk. It almost sounds like mafia talk. I wonder why. But wonder no more. I saw Elon retweeted this. Elon says, wow. What was he saying wow about? Well, here's the tweet, and then we'll look at the photos in just a second. Harold Daggett, the man you just saw, the ILA boss who pledged to cripple the United States, what he was talking about, owns a 76-foot yacht, a Bentley, and gets paid over $900,000 a year. He was acquitted on RICO charges after the main witness against him, mobster Lawrence Ricci, was found decomposing in a car trunk in New Jersey. Let's hear more. Mr. Daggett is a figure whose long union career has been shrouded in controversy. A third-generation ILA member, the longshoreman has worked for the union for 57 years, becoming the international president in July of 2011. Well, congratulations to him. Despite his eminent blue-collar credentials, the union baron earned $728,000 last year from the ILA, plus another $173,000 as president emeritus of a local union branch, Politico reported. He previously owned a 76-foot yacht, the Obsession, has been spotted by his members riding in a Bentley, according to the New York Times. The Justice Department, which has reportedly lost 2 cases against Mr. Daggett, has accused him of being an associate of the Genovese crime family, one of the infamous 5 families of the U.S. Mafia. Wow! The Justice Department has brought cases against him and accused him of being an associate of the Genovese family, crime family, nuclear family, I don't know. So he was charged with racketeering in 2005. Mr. Daggett took the witness stand and portrayed himself as a mob target, despite evidence against him from a turncoat mafia enforcer saying he was under the mob's control, the New York Times reported. Trial, one of Mr. Daggett's co-defendants, a renowned mobster, like good for him, he's got a great wholesome reputation, named Lawrence Ricci, disappeared. It's maybe like Biden lost his way a little bit. His decomposing body was found in the trunk of a car outside of a New Jersey diner several weeks later, with the killing still unsolved. Despite his union serving as a historic symbol of the grip of organized crime on union members, as depicted in the 1954 film On the Waterfront, Mr. Daggett was acquitted in both cases. The union leader has previously criticized the Waterfront Commission, set up to combat mafia control of the port, calling the allegations of mob influence total BS and a dark, ugly attack on Italian Americans. That's hilarious. So the mafia control port, he calls that thing, it's total BS. Basically, he plays the racist card, like, oh, they're trying to stop organized crime. That's an attack on Italian Americans. That's like saying, I want the border secure. That's like, you're racist against terrorists. That's what you are. So those are just propaganda talking points. And in my opinion, makes Mr. Daggett look much more guilty of what he's accused of being. I certainly don't have inside information. Is he or isn't he? But this is the information that's presented. And given that he's allegedly an associate of an organized crime family, that just makes you think, what is the biggest group of organized crime in our country? Is it the Italian mafia? Is it the Irish mafia? Or is it the deep state? And if the deep state has an agenda such as like, let's create chaos in this country before the election, and let's create economic hardship in this country, because that makes people easier to control. They become more obedient. They need us, the government, to take care of them more. That's why economic hardship is always a part of installing communism. And then that certainly ends because economic hardship becomes just much worse under communism. So if the organized crime family known as the deep state had an agenda like that, and I know that's super far-fetched, would it also be reasonable to consider that they would enlist the help of other criminals to implement it? One group of criminals could be the Clinton family. Another group of criminals could be the Genovese family. I don't know. I found all this very interesting. It helps me draw absolutely no conclusions, which I think is a good thing because it makes me much more curious about what could be going on. The surface says this is all about the union wanting higher wages. But what's going on under the surface? Is there more to it? Is there a deeper agenda to disrupt? I don't know. I just know I think it's better to be curious about possibilities rather than certain of something that's just designed to be a narrative diversion. But let me know what you think about what's going on with the union workers, the dock workers being on strike, and how it can massively disrupt the economy in the U.S. right before the election. Let me know your thoughts. Is this just the way it seems, or is there something more going on? Let me know what you think. I look forward to reading your comments, and I'll see you on our next video. But until then, question everything.